Hi, I'm Chris Taylor with Vivendi Universal Games.
And I'm Atish Salvi with Turbine Entertainment Software. You're about to witness Middle-earth Online. The product has been in development for 4 months and pre-production for about 3 months before then. The product is being developed by Turbine Entertainment Software and published by Vivendi Universal Games. A very important aspect of dealing with a license like Tolkien's is to not lose track of the fact that his world is very deep and very rich, and has more to it than just the generic hack and slash that you tend to see in other MMPs. So what you're seeing is Turbine's next generation engine. The graphics quality has been significantly improved to take advantage of much of the pixel shader technology that companies like ATI and NVIDIA are working on. You'll notice that the character is self-shadowed and has realistic volumetric shadows on him. You'll notice that the environment around is incredibly dense. There's a large amount of stuff going on. The hobbits are good old-fashioned country folk. They like their parties, they like having fun. Our NPCs have flavor to them. They have arguments, very often about food and relationships. They're not just goody two-shoes, they're real people. The Shire has been developed to be a real place where players can live. You saw some of the Smeals earlier. Players will be able to actually own those and upgrade those on their own. Players will be able to do things like smoke pipes, stand around and blow smoke rings, hang out in a very social setting. No party in the Shire would be complete without fireworks. And as you can see here, we've upgraded our particle engine to provide some incredibly good effects. Players will be able to interact with these in the game. Interactivity is a very large part of what we're aiming for. Actually, let me talk a little bit about what our focus has been for this game. As Chris Taylor walks up to one of our quest NPCs and gets his quest, MMORPGs traditionally tend to focus on the MMP side of life. This game is really about the online RPG element. Ultimately, we felt that Tolkien told an incredibly good tale. His story was rich, deep, entrancing, and had characters with depth and villains with real substance to them. Any game that followed from his franchise would have to, perforce, be a game about telling a great story. So our purpose is to make an MMORPG that really focuses on all of the aspects of storytelling, NPCs, of the players' quests in the world. And for us, what role-playing really comes down to is players having choice. Players have to be able to make meaningful and significant choices in the world. And when we go into Moria, Chris will be talking a little bit about what the nature of those choices will be. Here you see an example of one of our cutscenes. We'll be using those in order to convey story. These are easily downloadable. Our game is going to support players using non-broadband connectivity. Here Gandalf is telling us about our mission in the mountains.
At the mountain's foot, you will find the doors of Durin, the west gate to the ancient mines of Moria.
Fellowshipping is a critical part of the game. Without fellowships, Tolkien's world would have not been able to sustain itself, so we have made them a very critical part of our game as well. As Chris will talk about a little bit later, fellowships will be faced with some very interesting moral choices that arise from the way we're handling our role-playing systems. Certainly, being part of a fellowship is going to be one of the most exciting parts of this game, and you will grow to love and care about your fellowship and adventure with them through your lifetime in the game. Actually, before we continue, I really wanted to mention something quickly, which is that this launch cycle is going to be for Eriador, which is the northwestern corner of the world that deals with the first books. We really felt like in order to do a world of like Tolkien's justice, we had to focus on it one at a time. So this will deal with the first books. Subsequent SKUs will deal with books 2 and 3, and we'll also deal with The Hobbit. So over to Chris now. He's going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Moria.
Hi there. This is the inside of our little mini Moria dungeon for the E3 teaser. You can see here that we've actually got another player on the screen and that we'll be walking through with him as well. That's James Altenberg over there, the associate producer. What I'd like to show right now is just a little bit of kind of the depth and detail that we actually put into this game. One of the really important things about Tolkien is that it really is a vibrant world. It's a world that a lot of people know and understand from reading the books, and we want to capture that. So we do things like adding the little touches that are really expected by the fans of Tolkien. One of which right here is the languages. Tolkien actually wrote the languages for Middle-earth before he wrote the stories of Middle-earth, and we want to capture that within our game. There'll be the different types of languages that players can understand. Characters will be able to read them within the game. There'll be quests to go get new languages. Just one of the little touches that we're doing. something else is that this game is really focused about being an RPG. It's really a game where your decisions matter, consequence of action. Your statistics and skills are important to the world. If you do things within the world, it needs to be meaningful and have an impact. That's never really been done before in this genre of games, so we're pretty excited about that. Here's an example, is that we're going to have our little hobbit friend here is going to be making some noise, and that's going to attract some orcs. And instead of just coming across a bunch of orcs and slaughtering them around a camp, we have an event where the orcs are break through the door and come after us. Much more interesting, we think. We've got different types of magical effects. The world of Tolkien is filled with magic. A lot of our magic will be item-based or shamanistic in nature. You can see here that this is mostly dealing with the element of fire. Fire and earth and air and water, important bits of Tolkien magic. Move a little further on, you can see some more details that we've put into it. The Eye of Sauron on this orc drum that they've installed here. Coming down here, something that's really crucial to the game of Middle-earth Online is the idea of the concept of morality. Your decisions, your actions, the quests you go on, the people you interact with, it's really going to determine who you are. Are you working on the side of virtue, or have been corrupted by the wiles of Sauron? This particular item right here that I just picked up is a magic Angmarian sword. It's pretty powerful. And that kind of power, that's something that really is tempting the players. But if they use it, they're going to change. They're not going to be able to, even through the use of equipment, they're not going to be able to do things that they normally do if they had remained virtuous and pure. I'll put on the rest of my armor, the rest of my Angmarian armor that I just picked up. And you can see it's decidedly different. This will give me new skills and abilities, and at the same time, it also proves that I've really become a bad guy. That I've corrupted, that I've fallen under the sway of Sauron. And that will have meaningful, consequences within the game world. Let's move on a little bit here. There was a riddle back there, and this is the solution. We're running through the power behind the throne. Here's a new ability that I picked up from my armor. Those types of skills and powers and abilities are things that people are going to be practicing and using as they play through the game. A lot of it will come through decisions that the player makes about how to develop their character. Okay. We are very early. This is pre-alpha, definitely. Like Teach said earlier, we've only been developing it for about 4 months seriously. We are definitely going to be, through the course of this year, polishing up the game, creating a lot more content. We're scheduled for release late 2004, and we do absolutely plan on an open beta.